On this computer.
What would there be if there wasn't fabric?
A pile of crap. Here. Fabric and beads. And glary lights.
Wait a second. Why not display those things? That's what you do. That's...
Yes, but you can kind of see the glare from the lights behind me already through the fabric. And without the fabric, it's kind of obnoxious.
Is it?
So, anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll work on my background and be as cool as you guys next time.
Oh, God. What are you guys drinking? Just water or something? Or
fizzy water. Lolo!
Yeah. Fizzy.
So what I thought you could do is just ting this.
Okay.
Ting this?
Will that ting ting?
Let's find out.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it really does.
I don't know where the Ducal trunk is.
Are you calling the meeting to order?
I am about to go live. I have not yet. I'll let you know as soon as I do.
I almost said Drusus. God.
Yeah, we do it too.
It's okay. It's all right.
We do the same thing.
What's his name? B something.
Brago,
thank you. Gosh.
All right.
My dog won't come in the basement. He is scared of the basement.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Like, I've tried to carry him down and he, like, loses his mind.
If Brago will come down here hesitantly and join me, and if I go into the library where I, like, pound men and stuff like that, he's like, nope, having none of that. Goes to the door and scratches until Lois lets him back up again.
And he's terrified.
But if I go to the Shag Memorial Theater right next to it, he's like, okay, that's cool, it's fine, you can go in there.
The Shag Memorial Theater.
All right,
He's terrified of bugs.
I'm gonna hit the go live button. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess I need to add a title. All right. I'll add a title.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice enough.
Now go live. All right.
Shall we open with me picking my nose?
If that's how you want to portray your image, that is fine.
If that's the picture you want to paint, you go.
All right. So I see us live. And I was going to have Dave make sure that we were live, but
I've got it on my computer. Hold on, I've got two laptops running.
Yeah.
I am not seeing it.
You have a 2-up display.
Kind of, but it's really janky and old-fashioned.
I'll be right back. Let me ask Dave to check.
Where do you find it?
On my timeline.
On our timeline.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. Ron, Misty, come back.
Rifkin.
I'm back.
Yay.
The door's open, and that would be a no-no for Maisie. So, okay.
Come on, we don't want her interrupting us. That would be so much fun.
Fun for you. All right. So I think we're live, and this is Rifkin and Ishaxi, and we decided that we would like to introduce some of Ontier's best and brightest. And we're going to start with the Lions, and who better to start with than the newest Lion, Sir Ataias. And just start some background, Ishaxi and I are real sisters in real life. I am a knight and a pelican and a lion, and Ishaxi is a laurel.
I'm the oldest sister.
5 years. Anyway, I'm to talk to Ataias because he is one of my favorite people in the SCA, and I'm just excited to get to know him a little better. So,
yay!
Sure, you want to do that?
We're sure.
Okay.
In my mind halfway through, but for now, let's head into the abyss.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you gonna start? Should I start?
What?
Go ahead.
Okay. Sir Ataias, how did you find the SCA?
I found it when I was on after my last year of high school, I was on a foreign exchange program to Norway for a year, and I had nothing to do with interest in like Vikings or history and all that. It was like, yeah, I want to go out and somewhere, and this was an opportunity to do that. So when I came back in the summer of 1990, a high school friend of mine was going to local community college, which is where I was going to go, start off. And she said, "Hey, there's this group that has some of the students that are also part of it, and they're going to be doing a demo, and I think it'd really be up your alley." And she was right. And I went to the demo while I was going to school, and I saw right off the bat, I saw some amazing stuff.
So this is in Norway.
No. This is right after I came back.
Okay.
How old are
Right
you?
after I came back to the Longview Kelso area. I'm actually from Rainier, but so I came back there, and of course that group is Rivers Bend. Shout out to there. But at the demo, it was the local people, and they're doing a great job of like displaying all this stuff. But they also had the crown there at the same time. Wait, were you crown at the same? No, you were not. You were not the Majesty.
I'm not here.
Ludwig is back there.
First
She said she's not, but she is. And so among the people that were there were Ludwig and Duke Torquil, and then he wasn't a duke quite yet. And Torquil's squire, Sir Alaric von Watweil, Master Sir Alaric von Watweil later on, in his resplendent stainless steel plate, late period plate. It was like, my God, these guys are awesome. Of course,
He did beautiful armor.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Torquil had a Torquil helm too, so that was all like, just chainmail and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, this is right. This is awesome. So, and yeah, that was my first demo, and I was like in right after that.
So was it the metal work that drew you in? Was it the fighting that drew you in? What was really exciting to you?
I'd say those two things drew me in first.
So how long after that first demo did you get your own armor?
Took me about a year or so. There were some people that were fencing at the time in that shire. So I was like, okay, I don't need as much gear to get into that, and they're totally willing to let me borrow some of that. So I did that for about a year, and until I got my heavy stuff together, and I scrabbled together everything I could terribly, except for a sword. I had a shield and everything else, but not a sword. And I went to the Baroness's War down with Adiantum, and that's where I got to borrow somebody's sword and I got to play. I had no idea what I was doing. Absolutely, well, I had a vague idea what to do, but my body didn't. It was great though. It was so fun.
First fighting mentor.
First fighting mentor.
Who taught you how to throw a flat
Okay,
sword?
that would have to be pretty much the 3M fighter practice. I had no heavy fighters in that shire. So I drive to Portland and start practicing there, and that's where I met, on a more substantial basis, Duke Torquil and Grendel and Edward Ian Anderson and other knights of that area. Ulford wasn't quite there. He was out raising Charlie, so he wasn't around there yet. So it was those members of the knighthood, and also Sigurd the Dark, and
What year is this?
this has got to be 92, 91, 92, something like that.
So
So,
you've been playing about 4 or 5 years longer than we have, right, Misty?
Yeah, I think Ataias' knighting was the second knighting I remember ever seeing. I think Tiernan was first, and then you were the second one I remember. I actually have a picture of your buffet, which is epic. So
You know what I remember about that event?
Terrible haircut.
No, Sven's pants.
His pants.
He
His
had
pants.
his pants. He had these pants that every time he'd bow before the crown, they would like come down in the back. He's gonna hate me for saying that.
Oh my god! I can't believe you're displaying that picture. Thanks.
It's an awesome picture. Look at you.
It's
Like,
the best.
one of the best Buffett pictures I've ever seen.
Yes, I reel like a pro.
so
That was great.
something I should ask you about, and this is, I'm sort of getting ahead of ourselves, but your knighting coat, I mean, you still wear that all the time. How do you keep your clothes looking so nice? Like, seriously.
What is your secret?
What is your secret?
I try not to spill them too much. Well, actually, I mean, she has repaired like the collar like once. But that night, yeah, she's also made me at least a few clothes so I can like sort of like switch around with them and yeah, and I don't let my cats pee on them.
That's key.
That helps.
Really important.
Yeah.
That's the best tip.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd say clothes maintenance is more about what you don't let happen to it.
So on this topic of clothes, were you always Scythian or what were you beforehand?
See, I was about to ask if he was ever a pirate or an elf.
God, no, I did not make those choices. The first one I wanted to be was like a 12th century Templar dude, knight.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I moved on from that to a Viking or Norse extraction.
I think if you're from Ontario, you have to go through a Viking phase.
You can't help but the guys at the time could not help but make an impression upon me.
That was Brangian Guard, right?
Yeah. I mean, that was like their later years before they kind of just sort of went their ways and just let it go.
Their winter years.
So yeah, at the time there was Steingrim was still here, and Jarl Beric Ravensfury. He made a definite impression upon me. Also as a teacher as well. He's like I think he's actually one of the first guys who actually I learned a one-on-one like lesson from. And that was awesome. So yeah, him and Davin and yeah, all those other guys, Dublin, and yeah. So yeah, I could not. And of course, at the time, you also have like Skekti coming up and Skeggy coming up. So, like the
And Torfin.
and Torfin, Fiok.
Was Davin already a knight by then, or was he still coming up too?
I'm pretty sure he was already a knight. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Had he already reigned his first reign?
I don't know. I can't remember when his first reign was.
With Octavia?
I was not around for that, so that was earlier, or must have been. Maybe not before I got in, or God, I can't remember. I don't remember them reigning.
So they were before your time.
Yeah. And then after, well, Davin and Groa
Right.
did that thing.
Thing.
I have memories of that.
Yeah.
So how did you become interested in Scythian culture? Where did that come from?
The art.
The art?
Oh yeah. The art was the arts because the art was amazing. It wasn't like some static creatures that were. I mean, normally you have creatures that are just like frozen in a kind of motion or just standing, something like that, or maybe like a rampant, whatever. But these things, even when they're still, they're moved. They're like twisting and they're like attacking each other and beautifully so. I mean, they're absolutely beautiful, not just beautiful creatures in and of themselves, but also wonderfully depicted and the skill that went into like, especially like the metalwork.
What was your first book, or how did you discover that? I actually learned about the Scythians from a book my grandparents had on their coffee table way before I found the SCA.
The Splendor of Scythian Art. That was the first one I saw. A nice big museum book.
Mm-hmm.
Great black and white photographs. And this will come with some color plates too.
Is that the Art of Madoff book?
Let's see.
Now we've lost him.
His library's right there.
Yeah. With Introduction by Tamara Talbot Rice.
Awesome.
Nice. So if you were going to recommend to somebody who is interested in Scythian culture one book, would that be it? Or is there a different book that you think?
I imagine that one's spendy and hard to find. Your better bet would be, I could say the Osprey Man at Arms book, but I'd probably check out the Renata Roll book, The World of the Scythians. That one's really good and probably not too expensive.
So that's more of a focus on accessibility rather than like this is the Bible that all things are based off of.
I mean, well, how much did you pay for the Pazrik book?
Yeah. So Frozen Tombs of Siberia is the one that I would say, we actually bought a photocopy for $30 from somebody before we found a copy for $90.
That's nice.
And so I'm pretty liberal with loaning out our photocopies so other people can photocopy it because it's an expensive book.
Yeah.
But
so your wife says that she thinks it was Rice's The Scythians first.
Oh yeah?
It was what first?
Rice, The Scythians.
Oh, the Rice book, The Scythians. Oh God, that thing. I'm not a fan. I have to admit, I'm not a fan. That's this little guy.
So that one didn't leave an impression. The other one you're saying left an impression.
Because there's pictures.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean this one has some pictures and all that, and some photographs, and they are really cool. But that the Art of Manov book, The Splendor of Scythian Art, is much better pictures, larger pictures, and there's just more to it.
And is that what got you into Repoussé as well?
Yeah, I guess eventually, yeah. I mean, wanting to have some of those things, if it was at all possible. Yeah. That stuff put me onto it.
So did you already have metalworking skills before you started in the SCA, or is that something that you fell in love with through the SCA?
My dad was a fantastic welder and fabric and maker of things. Yeah, nothing like in the period, but just like stuff that you need. Like if a friend of his wanted to pay him to make a trailer, he would weld together a trailer. He's made 2 staircases out of this stainless steel hollow column that has holes machined into it that's used in like a paper mill. He got 2 of these things from Weyerhaeuser and made staircases out of both of them, welding the stairs together and welding pine trees out of welds up together with pine cones and all that.
Wow.
And the finishing touch would be a light at the base of it going up through the middle. So you've got these dots of light coming out through the middle of it.
How cool.
Yeah, my dad the entire basement was pretty much filled with like all these things that he collected that he's gonna get to someday. I've got a plan for it. And so he figured out, nah, it's never gonna happen. And it was like, it's a hazard for kids, but I'd be rooting around there anyway. He had little patience for me or my brothers messing around with the stuff, so we'd see him weld all this stuff together. But chances are he'd never teach it to us. So I already had that kind of introduction to the world of metal. But I think, of course, when I first got into the SCA, saw that Torgil helm on Torgil's head, and I was like, wow, that's awesome. And then Alric's armor is like, wow, that's awesome.
And now people look at your work and go, wow, that's awesome.
Aw, That's sweet.
Put up the slide, Misty.
You want me to okay, I'll put up the slide.
Put up the slide.
What slide?
Oh, you know, I did my homework for this one. Whoops. Let me see. All right.
We're gonna show.
It's dead air. This is a no-no.
No, what?
There we go.
Dead air. Oh crap.
Look at all that pretty stuff.
Well,
So I am going to fully admit I Facebook stalked you, and I
I hate you both.
so your projects, and honestly, Ataias, I mean, this stuff is gorgeous. I don't know what the order is that you made them or whatever, but you know, I guess what's your favorite piece?
Actually, I don't think it's up there.
Not up there.
No.
I missed it.
Oh, he's taking his clothes off. Woohoo!
It's these guys.
Oh, yes.
That's what it's kind of built up to.
And that's recent. That's like the last 4 months, right?
Yeah.
Have you posted pictures of those? I don't think I've seen those.
Here's my
Those are awesome. Nice.
Thank you.
So what techniques did you use?
Well, that's repoussé.
So if you
Backfilled with epoxy.
So what is repoussé?
this is backfilled with hot glue. Bryce was like, it's got hot
Really?
glue in
You
it.
used hot glue?
He used hot glue.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I don't feel so bad then.
So, you know, you can always think that I've got hot glue, so I can't
And
do all that.
Ugo suggest that I do that too.
Anyway,
Not slapping my thing in my drink, but you know, backfilling.
yum, leather juice. So if you were teaching someone to repoussé, is there a book you would point them to, or a tutorial, or would you just have them come over and hang out with you? Would you say, leave me alone, kid?
I've got like a basic metalwork book. It's this little spiral bound thing that covers like the basic techniques for a bunch of these things, or at least touches on them, and gives you an idea. But this isn't actually that. I mean, it's more patience than anything else that gets you there. You know, because
Trial and error.
kind of like with some leather work, you're just kind of pushing things around. You know, to one degree or another. You're like either like scratching them, marking them, stamping them, or you're pushing metal in and out, back and forth and sideways and all that jazz.
So when you're doing art, you aren't scared of failing. You just do and do and do.
I'd be scared of failing if I was making it for someone. If someone like commissioned me, then I'd be like, crap.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And it also makes me hesitant and lazy too. I mean, I count Keith the Wanderer. I made a circlet for him, and he waited like 2 years, very patiently.
Yeah.
For it to get done. So he was a real sport.
You don't really take commissions, do you? I mean, you do trades, right? But
well, for the exact reasons I just mentioned, yeah, I shy away from commissions because I don't want to get it wrong.
I'm the same way. It's too much pressure, and I would rather do art for people that I love and that I have an inspiration or a passion to make for somebody.
Yeah.
I was gonna say for me, because I have to charge by the 10th of the hour already for work. I don't want another job, so my art is not for sale.
Yeah. So speaking of art, Noah, I think one of the questions, I know you're going to hate me for this, one of the questions that I get asked once people feel comfortable with me is, why did Ataias give his laurel back? And they expect
actually ask that question.
Huh?
They don't ask that question.
They do. I get asked that all the time. It's
By
like
who?
I get asked about Misty. You know, why isn't she a Laurel? Why isn't the council talking about her?
Yeah. Why not, Laurel Council? Why not?
Well, they are, but she
Well,
can talk to you about why it's not going anywhere.
well, actually, I think, you know, because we've talked about you giving back your laurel before, and I think we actually have very similar reasons. Like, not that, you know, that it's just not something that I desire in the SCA. It's not that I don't respect it. I respect the hell out of it. I just feel like my plate is really full trying to be a good knight. And the art part is still super fun for me, and I want it to stay super fun, and I don't want it to be a job. But this is about you, Ataias, so
I don't know. I don't really. Night-wise, I feel like I can like pass on some knowledge to my squires. And I know plenty of people that can fill in the gaps for me of stuff I can't teach them. So my role in that as a knight is like, you know, is sometimes more of like, you know, watch out for this thing. Those are rocks ahead. Steer away from that kind of like that, what you're doing there, that kind of jazz.
You feel completely of the body of knighthood.
Yeah. I mean, I may not be a great knight, but I feel like I'm on the path. As the saying goes. I'm on the path of knighthood. Mastery, on the other hand, no. I've seen mastery. I know mastery. I know masters and companions.
Let's unpack for a second. Let's unpack that, because do you mean that you're still on the path of knighthood prowess-wise, or like the whole package-wise? I mean, what do you feel like you're... Okay. Okay.
I'm pretty sure I've heard it from not... What?
Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure I've heard it from more than just one or two members of the order. Duke Sean, probably. Hey, Sean. And others that you're never... There's always something more to learn. You know, there's always something else that you haven't figured out yet, or something you could do better.
I think honestly, that's what makes the two of you and my husband my three favorite knights. I'm just gonna say it. Is that beginner's mindset and the dedication to always learning.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have
there's always someone out there that's going to surprise you, and always someone out there that is coming up, or someone who just does the right move at the right time and you don't, and they hit you, and it's like, okay, that's cool.
So, honestly, like for me, Ataias, you and Sven are like, you know, what would Sven do anytime I have some sort of crisis of like how I should comport myself, or like if I'm feeling bad about my behavior in some way. So for me, really the way you comport yourself as a knight, I mean, I understand that you're always striving to improve, but you are, to me, what a knight is. Like if somebody asked me, you know, what knight should I emulate, it would be you and Sven. And I actually have a question about that, because
I don't know how to respond to that. Except thank you.
Yeah.
I
have a question about that, actually, because there's and actually we can go to a picture again. You have silver rosed 3 times, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I have a picture of that. Let me see. Where is it? There it is.
That's, wow.
That's the wrong one.
Nope. Yep.
Oh, there it is.
That was it.
So they're in reverse chronological order. It's your first one was what, 2009 with Vic?
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. Or 2008?
I think it's 2008 because I was pregnant.
Okay, yeah. 2008. And then,
you would know better.
Christian's was that his first win and then his third win, right?
Yep, both over my dead body.
Oh.
All right. One, it's a amazing feat is to have such longevity and to make the final over a decade. But also, you never seem, and I'm not saying anything about your opponents at all. Like in general, you never seem to let a bad fight get to you, like ever. Like you, to me, never let any emotion through. Is that something that you have to work on? Because we all have bad fights. I mean, let's be honest. Or is that just sort of who you are?
Well, I wouldn't say I had no emotion. I mean, yeah, I was all 3 times that I lost. I was like, yeah, it's disappointing, but I was still elated to be there. Especially that last time was highly impactful for me emotionally, because the people that I had behind me, I never felt that good. I can't recall. There have been, yeah, maybe a few times that are on par come up to it, but that was absolutely fantastic. As far as losing the fights themselves, I mean, both winning or losing. Do you mean?
I mean, from what I remember of all your finals, they were good finals. Your final with Christian, the first time he won crown, was one of the most beautiful finals I've ever seen in my life. Which, applause to you and Christian, because it was really, really pretty. But, we all have those fights where it just doesn't feel right,
Yeah.
and you never seem to change your demeanor or let any emotions show through. And honestly, anytime I've ever had sort of a breakdown, and the earthfulness I'm talking about, I look into myself and go, what would Ataias do? And Ataias wouldn't let it get to him. And I'm just wondering, how do you do that?
I guess it comes from a experience I had when I don't think I was belted yet. But this is of course, many years ago. I think before it was before I became knighted, and I was in a crown tournament, and it was down south in the Ataias region, and I just had pumped myself up so much, and I just I can't. I'm gonna go all the way or go as far as I can. It's gonna be I'll probably go out sooner or later, but it's gonna be awesome in the meantime, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna kill all my opponents, and I got on my angry face and just pump myself up, and I was out 2.
Oh.
And I actually, after that loss, I said, oh, it may have been more than just 2. It was really early, way earlier than I wanted it to be or expected it to be, and right after that last fight, when it was over, went off to the side, outside the Eric's, past this line of tents, and I just lay down there and just freaking sobbed for a while. I was wrecked. I had just pumped myself up so much and put so much psychological investment into it, and just went kind of crashing down. And they weren't bad. I don't think they were bad fights. The guys just killed me. I remember who I fought. It didn't matter to me at the time. I just knew that I'd lost. I didn't do as well as I wanted to, and I told myself I was going to go so far, and that that was just absolutely just shattered. So after that, I realized that, oh wow, I'm not sure I should be doing that anyway. And you question, what am I after? What am I actually after in the fights? in that respect. And then I'll at some point, either before or after, but it came to mind again. It's something I remind myself. This book called The Regiment, the science fiction novel. I think it was written by John Dalmas, where part of the premise is that these regiment of mercenaries from this one planet are they're the best mercenaries and you can find that you can buy, and they're also just kind of unflappable. And they will go joyfully to war and do what they have to do. But the reason why they do so well and why they are able to keep that stability is that they don't strive for winning. They strive not to think about winning or losing, but just performing their art. And in their society at that point when they're in the regiment, their job is as warriors, but their profession is under the category of art. So they're artists performing their craft as best as they can. And if they die, they die. If they win, they keep on going. But they try to, in order to be able to perform as well as they can, they have to sort of detach themselves from the idea, from the need, and the fear of winning and losing. So
and also, their art isn't dependent really on their opponent.
No, they treat their opponents as their playmates, as people that they play with, fellow artists that are, they may not, they don't think of themselves as artists, but they treat their opponents like they're together in a kind of artistic sandbox playing.
Who are your favorite playmates?
Wait, can I say
What's like your?
before we go to that?
Go ahead.
They've chosen the wrong word. That's right with me. I chose the wrong word. Fellow players. That's a better way to put it. Fellow players. In a game, in a play that's played very seriously, as Bruce Lee might say. Who are my favorites? Sven. Duke Sven is one on tier. Duke Sven Gunnarsson. Wow. Octomasades. That is, oh God, man, you have no idea. Well, yeah, you guys have an idea.
I kind of do.
Ripken and Missy have an idea of it. So yeah, those are two. God, who else is Ulfgar? It's fun to play with. Duke Sean, I rarely get enough a chance to play with him, which I should rectify in the future. I imagine I'd love playing with him more. Sir Magnus, who's undertaken the way of the sinister hand. I want to play a lot more with him. Oh God, I don't know. I love playing with Davin. Davin is like a fearsome guy to play with because he literally could take your head off if you hit him. Duke Miles down from the West. What a happy fighter. Oh my God, I love that guy. I could keep on like searching for names, but yeah, these are all guys they're such fun.
So, speaking of Magnus and Octa, are you a natural lefty?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah. And to those of you who are not in on this, those guys are not. Actually, Kjartan is a natural lefty, I believe, but he chose to fight right-handed. But anyway, so yeah, I'm a natural lefty, and no one actually dissuaded me from that at the time that I started. I mean, they may have like said something, I don't know, but I didn't let it. I wasn't gonna switch. I'm a lefty. This is what I do.
It's who you are.
I am left-handed.
And man, does it hurt when you wrap me in the ribs.
I'm sorry.
I'm not
Nothing
sorry.
personal to anyone. It's just what I know how to. I do that more than you guys do that. So
I'm not sorry at all. I don't think you should apologize because every time I fight you, I get better. So, it's a gift, actually. That's a little masochistic, but it's a gift.
that's funny.
So,
Yes, my personal gift to you.
A personal gift to Rithkin is this big bruise. Well, I could be over here, but anyway, there's sort of this. I'm going to shift gears a little bit. There's this intersection where your art and your fighting meet in your kit, and one of the things that really I think is phenomenal about you is how you're always evolving your kit. And actually, I have a picture, and you're going to love it.
Oh God, will I? Okay.
Let me get it. So, let's see. There we go. So, like I said, I stalked you on Facebook. So this is sort of, I don't know if I put them in the right order, but this is sort of an evolution of your kit. And I think the longest hair is probably the beginning. Is that right?
No, actually, the one before that is the one with the red pants and teal and red gambeson.
Okay,
That's
so
before the Greek armor, and the other two after that or beside them are kind of like the same time, but yeah, these other two guys are a little bit later.
well, anyway, like a lot of fighters, myself included, we find something that works for us and it's comfortable. And Sean, I'm going to throw you under the bus. You know, Sean has this ugly bassinet that he's been bassinet, sorry, bassinet, bassinet forever, right? Because it's comfortable for him and it works. But so
Sorry.
people find things that work and they don't want to move. And
If I could, like, you know, be all nice and cozy in a bassinet, sure. Thanks.
now I just have this picture of Sean as a baby sucking his thumb with his helmet on and his
Wearing his bassinet.
Anyway, sorry, Sean.
I'm not sorry.
Yeah, are you really?
Anyway, a series of pictures. I mean, you started out with this amazing kit. What motivates you to keep evolving your kit, and how do you choose which things actually need to be replaced? Because, you know, I look at this teal and red kit and I'm like, damn, I take that, take it now. And this was probably what, 20 years ago, 15 years ago?
Thank you. That's really nice.
And can we just talk about the smolder on your face in the linothorax picture? Damn, dude. Lois is a lucky woman. I'm just going to say it.
That picture was taken by a really awesome artist, photographer by the name of Martin Lucas. Totally outside the SCA, but I want some nice pictures of Lois and I in our stuff, in our gear by an artist. So
Wasn't that for her birthday one year?
yeah. Yeah, snuck that on her.
So cool.
Yep. So yeah, of course, you know, the art. If the photographer wants you to smolder, you got to do that.
Well, it's just, I thought it was just your natural state.
I don't know. Does that look like my murder face?
Oh, your murder face is actually very scary. You get all the dents in your helmet and your eyes go.
That's so nice.
But anyway,
I
getting back
start
to,
off with a smile, don't I, though, at first? I mean, I'm happy to be there. Well,
you are very intense when you're fighting. And I don't usually look at eyes, but every once in a while I catch your eyes and I'm just like, holy shit, this guy's really trying to kill me.
Misty's murder face is why I don't fight anymore.
Across both of the calves.
Well, that too. That was painful.
Misty, I love your murder face.
Anyway.
I love the pictures that you let me take of you. Even though you're like, you know, only seeing like your eyes is like, geez. Yeah, she's out there she's business. She means business.
Well, thank you. Back to your kit.
Yeah.
So what motivates you? How do you choose what to update when you already look so fine and sexy with the long hair? Are we gonna make a comeback?
Those love my armor, not my hair. What motivates me for my kit? I don't know. I just want to look. I want something that's protective and yet also looks looks good. And I imagine the stuff from Period for the most part is gets me some coverage, some protection, some more than others, some less than others. But which would I rather wear during war and tournament? If I'm gonna be in a war, I've got to okay, how protected do I want? How fit am I feeling? Do I want to feel weighed down? So should I wear the bronze scale, which can feel like it's weighing a ton? And if it's too loose, will like shift more than you want it to. Or I want to go light. And if I'm in a tournament, I'd probably prefer light, even though I also want to look awesome. And I look more awesome on my scale than I do in the lesser stuff. So I don't know. Some of my armor is more Period than others. Like the shoulder pieces, like on this guy right here. Yeah, I don't think I can document those. But this kind of breastplate or centerpiece, yes, I can. The plates around beneath that, I'm pretty sure I can get that, or variation of it. The belt, certainly. The belt for a Scythian, plated belt, is a must. I highly suggest you get one.
He's attacking me.
Since you have your armor right behind you, can you bring some of that forward that you were talking about, the things that you can document and you can't?
Okay. Oh, but first I have to remove this this wonderful garment that was made for me by Miss Dama Shaxi, Mr. Shaxi, who do you recall who made this?
Sir Rifkin made that because she's a goddess.
Yeah, Sir Rifkin. Sir Rifkin made this for me.
Because your wife had to do something special for your birthday, and I love you, and I loved your wife.
Thank you. I was just blown away by it. I really was.
Honestly,
I am still.
You make your costume. I mean, just the way you put yourself together all the time.
It's not just me.
Well, I know your wife has a lot to do with it. Not taking anything away from Ludwiga. You give people dream moments, right, at events because you are a Scythian, and if I can do anything to raise the bar for you, and which I don't know how you keep raising the bar, but you do. It's a labor of love.
Thank you.
So.
Noah.
What?
Oh, sorry, Ataias. Tell me about this helmet you have. I have to admit, I kind of missed the ram head helmet. Tell me about the new one.
Oh, this guy. Yeah, I decided to try to make myself a new helmet, and I always love there's a bunch of extant bronze helmets that are made kind of like they resemble this top, where you've got the bottom curtain goes down to about there, and there's like this eye slots with this almost like with this point, almost looks kind of like a beak or something, and usually there's this ridge down the middle. What?
It's a heart.
Okay, sure. Yeah, there's this ridge down the middle. There's also usually this little bronze loop at the top for attaching maybe some kind of decoration, or maybe just have a little loop so you can
scalps.
Handle so you can carry it around. So yeah, I decided to. I really wanted a helmet like that. I can't cast bronze like that, and I'm not sure it would work very well as an SEA helmet anyway. So I decided to okay, I'm gonna make that and use some bronze scales that I had to do that, and I need to redo this area back here. But yeah, I wanted that. Just ignore the grill.
Can you put the plates closer to the camera?
Yeah, are those just riveted on plates? How did you do that?
Yeah, I riveted them on. They're overlapping both top and bottom in one way or the other. So it's under those overlaps that I put the rivets.
And is that a steel backing under the bronze, or is it?
Yeah, it's a stainless steel backing. The top is mild steel. I decided to do stainless for this and the curtain.
And did you ridge it in leather? Is that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I did some detailing in the leather and glued it on, then gave it an edging. Of course, I need to replace some of it because it's getting all kind of worn off.
And did you make every part of that helmet?
Yeah. Which is why the grill sucks so much. or as Master Siegmund Helmschmidt would say, it's fugly.
Oh.
Maybe he should laser
He's
cut.
not wrong. He's not wrong. I sooner or later I need to pay him the money or pay the money to someone to cut a grill to my liking. But this is like meh. It's all right. It works. Gets me out on the field.
Do you still have your ram's horn helmet?
No, I do not.
Where is it?
Did you sell it to William?
I did not sell it. I gave it to him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And did you make that one too?
I did not. That
Okay.
was made by currently he is known as Master Siegmund Helmschmidt, but he used to be known as Tristan Thomas, who made it. It was like the one piece of work that he has left in his grasp that he worked with his master Sir Alaric von Rottweil. So, and they Master Alaric completed that and gave it to me as my knighting gift.
Oh, that's cool. Is that the one you're talking about, the armor that sort of drew you into the SCA? Same guy?
Yeah, same guy.
Okay.
Same guy. His real name's Tony Amy. And he doesn't play anymore. Hasn't for a long time, but we have his apprentice and squire Siegmund, who of course you've seen this phenomenal stuff. So it's a pretty good legacy having a guy like that descended from.
So Don or Shaxi, every time your cat's tail comes into screen and the rest of the cat doesn't, it looks like you have a tentacle.
I'm sorry. He was attacking my head through the thing. So it's better to have him in my lap than to have him attacking me.
I just was like, what the hell is that? Anyway.
This is Hunter, and he's a jerk.
But to finish answering your question, that helmet is back with Rin or with Siegmund.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah,
Nice.
it's like on his mantelpiece or somewhere that he likes, because it's like I said. He said it's like the only thing he's got in his possession that is a joint work between he and his master.
That makes me feel better about not seeing it anymore, because he's a really awesome guy.
Yeah.
So.
But I did give it to William, and it just didn't work out right for him, so he got it to Siegmund.
Cool.
So.
Cool.
So, liaising back to your fighting kit, do you have like a fighting kit, like, because you were talking about weight and balance and like what you're looking for, do you have different fighting kits for war and tournaments or crown tournaments and practice, or?
Well, I've got this guy that is a pretty good balance. I took the bronze scale corselet apart because that stuff weighs a ton. And I also had a better idea how to use some of those scales, which I have not done yet. Well, I've sort of worked on it. Hold on.
Oh,
Where he's going.
I'm making a couple of shoulder pieces for myself.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to attach there.
Mhm.
Maybe take these guys off every now and then. But that's pretty much like the heaviest kit I got right now. And I think I'll fight with that in war. That's fine. And I'll probably start off a crown tournament that way. I don't know. It kind of depends on what I'm feeling. If I feel like I'm really tanking, I really got to lose some of this stuff, I'll go to like the leather breastplate and attach these to it. So yeah. I try to be a little bit strategic about, it's like, well, how am I feeling today as far as my fighting is concerned?
But you would never go to plastic to save on weight.
I could.
That segues
I do. I mean, my creases are plastic. underneath my pants.
So, Ataias.
Yeah.
Plastic basket hilts, necessary evil or dream killer?
Necessary evil or dream killer? Kind of depends on how much you care. I mean, really. I mean, when I'm fighting, I don't have any period shoes to fight with at the moment. So I fight with my steel-toed work boot kind of things that are black.
Old school.
They're black, so they're, you know, they don't like stand out as like, oh my god, you know, there's not like fluorescent green. And by the same token, I would choose a black colored plastic hilt over a gray one or some other kind of color because it's low key. It doesn't stand out that much.
It does kind of fade into the background. I personally think they're a necessary evil, but I need my hands for my job, and I think everybody does.
Yeah. And I find lots of gauntlets just kind of cumbersome. I mean, I like. I don't when I wear a demigauntlet. I mean, I don't wear a glove. I mean, I wear a demigauntlet, and that has like a strap that covers the front of my palm, maybe a little loop around the thumb or something like that. But I like to feel the grasp of my weapon if I can. I mean, I like to feel I like more contact with it. You know, it's just better. I feel otherwise it feels like there's something in the way, or there's too much material in there. It's getting bound up.
I get that.
You gotta have it loose, or should have it loose. I feel like I should have it loose.
So I'm going to switch gears again. I have a question for you. You are married to Duchess Luiga, who is also a woman, and arguably, and I don't even know if it's really arguably, but she's one of the biggest movers and shakers in the kingdom, right? I mean, she does so much. And I'm wondering how you balance supporting her efforts with pursuing your own dreams. You do provide a lot of support.
I mean, yeah. Well, you know, as much as I can. I mean, there's pursuits I want to pursue as well. And we help each other out in that respect. I mean, if I feel like I need space, I tell her, you know, I need to do this thing, and she gives me the space.
Well,
you guys also have. Oh, sorry.
I just could say I didn't mean to imply that she doesn't support you too, because I know she does. But I also know that when somebody plays at the level that your wife does, there is a lot of support underneath, and you know, she has a lot of people. But you know, you're her husband, so I just wondered, you know, what the balance was.
I guess just that. I mean, we're
it just works.
We're partners.
Cool.
I don't want to leave her. She doesn't want to leave me. We love each other. I mean, I don't really even consider it. It's just that, yeah. Sure, there are moments that are frustrating for both of us. You know, it goes both ways, but I think we're each other's best friends, and we're able to talk to each other. And as long as you do eventually talk to each other, I'm not so great at it sometimes. I can stew. I often, yeah. I got a tendency to just like let it all just like simmer inside and then say something stupid and then realize I'm saying something stupid. It's like, okay, yeah, I just fucked up. But you admit it, and you do what you can afterward. That's just, yeah.
You guys also have created together such a wonderful SCA family. Your legacy.
More for her than me.
Well, it's you too, though. I mean, it really is. She couldn't have created what she's created without you. And it isn't just her. It's the two of you together that make this incredible team that is so inspiring in so many ways. The way that you love each other, the way that you welcome people into your homes, the way that you have formed a sense of home and community for literally hundreds of people. You know, I mean, the core is the core, and it's not I mean, it's pretty big. I can't handle that many people in my immediate circle, but you guys have an incredible core of people who are all stellar people. And then you have, like, I would consider myself one of the kind of satellites that comes back in every once in a while. But I mean, your reach, both of you, your reach is huge. It's amazing. And thank you for that. Thank you both for that.
And that's
Sorry to make you hide.
You guys both are so generous with your time and your arts, and both at events and not at events. And you know, and I know from you know, my husband, I'm way more active than he is, and if he was active at the same level as I was, and like you and Luiga are, I just think the balance would be harder. And so my question wasn't, you know, how you make your marriage work, but it's really like, I just think it's phenomenal that you guys are able to achieve that and really contribute to the kingdom in such a huge way.
I don't know what to say.
Okay, well, I can switch gears if you'd like. I had a question.
Well, wait.
Okay.
There is one way I can respond to this, okay? And that is recognizing that there's amazing people around us that inspire us, and
Singing into that.
if you were to ask me, gee, Ataias, why are you so cool, Antonio? Or why you do this, or why you're motivated to do that? It's because there's so many people that we know, that we're around, that are amazing themselves. Like even people that are kind of new, like if I can say, Refskeg and Brianna from Stromgard, their enthusiasm and their just everything they bring to the table is just like, wow, yeah, I want to do this thing. It's not going to be what they do, but they're having a great time doing what they're doing. They're enthusiastic, and they're really smart and into their craft. It's like, wow. There's this thing I want to do. Oh, I want to do this thing like these guys are doing this. Yeah. Yeah, we're fortunate to know some amazing people, and we're just to meet them, and we have these mutual, some mutual interests that cross over, and we're able to like appreciate what each other do. It's like, what you're doing is amazing. No, what you're doing is amazing. Kind of what ends up being. But
so do you feel like the right people just sort of come into your life, or how do you go about choosing your squires and your people, I guess?
Oh.
Do they come to you? Do you ask them? How does that usually roll out for you?
They usually come to me. I've had some experiences in the past that made me kind of skittish of taking on the responsibility of a charge, and it is a responsibility, make no mistake. So you've got to think about it. You should be slow, like a prince taking action. Prince should be slow to action. Because really, I mean, you get the wrong matchup too soon, and it could end up a total disaster.
Yeah.
That does neither of you any good service.
It's important to establish a relationship first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to that end, when you are establishing a relationship, or are you one of those people that does like the man of arms thing for like a year and a day before you take a squire, or do you just sort of know?
I'll try to do the man of arms thing for like a year and a day. for a period of time, and make sure you have to make sure you blend, that you click or what have you. That
No, I agree.
You don't want a disaster down the road.
No.
Even
And
if
so, would you advise new people to not jump on board the peer train, to just wait and get to know somebody and become friends? And
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Take your time. There's plenty of it. Unless there's like unless someone like puts up a stop clock and says, okay, you've got this long to decide if you want to be my guy,
and if they do that, run.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Some relationships are more serious than others. Or the way they arrange them are more serious than others. I guess I'd be kind of like halfway between the two extremes. If I take you on as a squire, it's because I care about your stuff. And I'm thinking that I should have the feeling that's kind of mutual, that there is a basis of something that's intentional and maybe not deathly serious, but a little bit of earnestness and
Commitment.
Yeah, some expectation of that. But I'm not going to ask for your firstborn.
Yeah.
So because you're no longer a Laurel, and do you take squires who don't fight, or if your squires stop fighting, do you keep them as students, like for the art or the service part, or?
If they want to stay my squires, even if they're not able to fight, I'll keep them. If they want to maintain a relationship, that's fine. I think it should be fine. Sometimes there are reasons that they're not able to be squires, that they're not able to fight anymore, and they may not feel that they can sort of square that somehow or whatnot. It kind of depends on the relation, on the two. It'll always depend on the two. But yeah, I've got a squire that she is a double peer, and the Pelican and the Laurel, but I'm honored that she still wants to be connected to me. So
I don't know who that is.
Mistress Tyrion.
Oh, of course.
Yep.
Tyrion.
And you never
We were
know.
roommates. I totally know who that is.
You never know. Down the road, there may come a time. I mean, we're both. I think she may be 1 year older than I am, which is, I guess it would make her 50, or not. Maybe she is the same age as I am.
No, you're not 49. You're younger than me.
He's turning 50 this year.
Are you serious?
Yep.
I could have sworn, Ataias, that you were like 10 years younger than me.
That's sweet. Thank you.
Well, you don't look 50, and I'm not hitting on him, Ludwiga. She told me to stay away.
Ew, that's gross because he's my brother, which makes him your brother. So, ew.
So, getting back to another serious question,
Uh-oh.
if there was one thing in the kingdom that you could influence or change, what would it be?
Well, that's got a.
It's a big one.
What would it be? That really is a tough question. I'm not sure I could answer that specifically. I would say the evolve to whatever that has no specific pre-thought destination. That's actually not how evolution really works. But be willing to, be willing to move on, huh?
I was gonna say I could narrow it to like as a knight, like fighting culture.
All right.
Or does that make it harder?
Make it harder.
You are just asking for more specifics, for something a bit more specific. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. It kind of in reference to what I just mentioned, it would kind of depend on what the growing trend is, or needs or wants of the newer fighters. Yeah.
What if I put it a different way?
I don't know.
If you had one crown in September,
Mm-hmm.
what would you have wanted to do during your reign? Is that harder?
Well, I am somewhat. I'm still fond of the way things used to be, as it were.
No, we can move on.
I don't have anything new and specific and pioneering in mind.
You can say pass.
Yeah, he can pass.
You can pass. So I'm going to take you out of the SCA for a minute, just to totally reset your brain.
Wait. Let's keep on going with this question. Just a little bit.
Okay.
Are there specific areas that you have in mind? Maybe not fighting, but culture-wise, or.
Well, for example, like one thing that I'm super passionate about is I think peerage circles should be more than just talking about propagating the circle.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like peerage circles spend more time, and maybe electronically, like it doesn't have to be at events, but we should spend more time thinking about how we want to shape our respective cultures. And that's something that if I could figure out how to do it with the Knights Council,
Mm-hmm.
I would do in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'd probably spend less time just talking about candidates and actually bring up issues that we can talk about in person, right there. Whatever those may be. I have no specific issues in mind necessarily, but
well, I don't think they need to be specific issues, right? Like, I mean, it's sort of a missed opportunity, because as much as, you know, those of us in council want to say that we don't have privilege or we don't have power, we do. And, you know, I actually had to rethink that, because I'm like, I don't feel powerful, but we do have power, and we have this power to shape our culture in a way, and I don't have a vision, but I just feel like that's something that we really don't do very well. And I would love to see us do that better.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I agree. And if there's an issue that, if I can fall back on like an Anglo-Saxon maxim, you must do the needful thing. If there's something that needs to be talked about, that needs to be addressed, or is something we need to talk about it, and sometimes just doing it online is not it doesn't have the same impact or whatnot. If there's something that needs to be looked at or changed, that should be talking about it civilly, of course. But sometimes it does seem that, if others would forgive me, that just talking about candidates, well, I don't know. Sometimes a discussion of candidates can end up being about touching on particular issues in reference to those candidates.
Right.
So.
And I think it's a difficult issue in that nobody wants to take up more time at events, having meetings or whatever. But if there was some way, and I don't mean to dump like my thing on you, but if there was some way as peerage circles that we work together better to shape culture or address issues, it's just something that I think we should explore. But that's my soapbox.
At least be open to exploring.
Yeah. So Dawn, you had a non-SCA question.
I did. Actually, this is from Ruskag. He wants to know, what is your favorite H.P. Lovecraft mythos story?
My favorite H.P. Lovecraft mythos story. Wow. Does it have to do with the Cthulhu mythos?
No, it's whatever your favorite is.
Well, okay. My favorite H.P. Lovecraft story, and it has more to do with how it's told than anything else, is Herbert West Reanimator. And I've got an audio version of the story, and it's like done like a serial, so it's like in like I think 5 parts, and it's narrated by and told by Jeffrey Combs, who played him in the movie, and it's just awesome because it's got the right blend of foreboding and mysterious and fear, but also touches of comedy in it too. So I gotta say that's my favorite go-to. That's kind of easy. I love the book that he gave me, the manga book that he gave me on in the mountains of at the Mountains of Madness. That's really good. I love the artwork in that. And the thing about Lovecraft stories is that they're often more of conveying an atmosphere and mood than it is about actually telling a straight up story. It's about making you feel kind of creepy and kind of feel like there's something out there that is beyond your control, beyond your power, and it doesn't care about you at all or the human condition. The great old ones are just going about doing their thing. If you get stepped on in the meantime, meh.
That's too bad.
It's kind of, yeah.
So what is your passion outside the SCA? Because I think a lot of people don't know.
I have a picture for this.
What? You have a picture?
Yeah, but you talk while I find it.
Okay. Outside the SCA. Oh, that stuff. Okay.
Well,
it's
stuff.
Yeah, I like film, and I want to be able to write a really good screenplay and tell a good story that way. Being able to write fiction be great. Really good fiction be great. But I'm still working on that craft. Video is almost like a cheat, almost, because it's like telling stuff in visuals, and with a camera, it's I don't know, somehow it's easier to do that than the craft of writing. And as far as photography is concerned, or video, actually, my influence there is from my dad, who was not only really great fabricator of things and metalwork and all that, and he had a lot of talents. One of them included black and white photography, and yeah, that's my favorite memories of my dad, is like hanging out with him. I don't know why he let me hang out with him, or why I was like dumped in his charge at the time, but I'd be like at the local community college in their dark room. My dad is doing his thing, and I'd be there with him and smells those chemicals and all that. And he's like developing photos that he's taken in black and white. Yeah. So that's kind of where some of that influence comes from. But I love movies. I love good TV. Some of it has to do with most of it actually has to do with the actors and the characters.
What's your favorite thing to binge right now?
Favorite thing to binge right now? Can it be a re-binge?
Whatever it is that's getting you through this epidemic.
Well, every now and then I'll go back to 30 Rock. because it's just Tina Fey's just a fucking genius. Gotta love her. But I can't watch that too much because it'll get really tired, and Ludwig hates listening to the opening credits in the morning. But a show
that way about MASH.
There's like 3 shows I love watching over and over again. One of them is Peaky Blinders.
Yes.
God, that's just so freaking awesome. Another one is Mindhunter. More recently, actually, that should be number 3. Number 2 should be. I just went right out of my head. Okay.
Show with the thing.
Mindhunter and the first 3 seasons of Penny Dreadful. Penny Dreadful is it's the horror movie series thing that I should have had when I was in the 80s, when I was a kid in the 80s or in the 70s as a preteen. Because I loved werewolves, especially werewolves, and Dracula and all the other classic monsters, and having them all together in that one show, it's like, yes! It's fantastic. But Peaky Blinders is, God, that's just fantastic. The way it's shot is just is beautiful. I love the dialogue. Tom Hardy as Alfie is my best role that Tom Hardy is in. But if I could binge it, if I could like find it, pay the ducats for it, it'd also be Hannibal, which is a horrific subject, but it's so beautifully shot and edited. Yeah. Oh my God. And of course, Mads Mikkelsen. Mads.
I just binged that. Isn't it on not HBO, but Amazon?
I could probably find it on Amazon. I could probably find it there. I'll probably, now that you've mentioned it, now you like give me a definite like probable source, I'll probably go and binge watch it again.
I love
the enabler.
It really is amazing.
All the it's
Mads Mikkelsen, who was also in King Arthur as Tristram, who is the most badass portrayal I've ever seen of a Sarmatian archer in England. That is like, oh my God, I want to be that guy. So, which is something else I've been taking up as archery.
Me too.
I was going to ask you about that. Is that a new thing, or have you been doing that for a while?
I have had my horse bow for literally decades now. I've barely touched it. And then this last year, in the last part of the summer, there was a tri-baronial archery thrown weapons mutual, competitions going at the same time. And Ludwika wanted to play, so she got me to play too. Do a couple of the competitions for and shoot. And I did so terribly. I was just like, oh my God, and I'm calling myself a Scythian. That is so messed up. I was so embarrassed.
You're such a poser.
Yeah. I mean, not only was I not shooting a bow proficient with any kind of proficiency, I've only ridden a horse like less than 5 times, and I could. So yeah, Scythian, whatever. So I thought I could at least have it in the power to like rectify the whole archery thing. So I started taking up archery. I started practicing in earnest, and I wanted to do something more appropriate for a horse bow, which for the Mongols, I think maybe for the Scythians, that's debatable. But for later Eurasian Iron Age cultures, that involves a thumb release, not a Mediterranean release, for the most part. So I decided to learn how to shoot with a thumb draw, and that took a lot of work just to be able to do it without hurting my freaking thumb. But but yeah, now I'm feeling like I'm on a good route now with that. Like I'm on a good path.
That's exciting.
Especially since finding that book.
I know
That
what book you're talking about.
yeah.
Nobody else does.
I don't.
Okay. But first, Refskeg turned me on to this YouTube channel made by this guy in Malta called Armin Hermer, who that's all he shoots with is for the most part is with a thumb release. Show off that he does it without a thumb ring because he's built a callus. Whatever.
Ouch.
But yeah, he with some videos he actually gave you the basics for the technique for just how to release. So that's a pretty good start, right? So I did that for a while, and okay, this is working out really well. I'm not hurting myself anymore. I'm not tearing off any skin. And the rings I'm making in the meantime are progressing okay. I started with like a horn thing because I've had a tutorial for that, and then made a couple metal ones, playing around with that as well. And now I've got a thumb ring that's like, okay, this one's really good. And in the midst of this, like in the last couple months, I found a mention of a book that's a military manual from the 17th century by a gentleman by the name of Gao Ying, I believe. And I believe that's the proper way to say it. And it's a military training manual, Chinese military training manual for the way of, not the art of archery, but for the way of archery. And I found a copy translated by these two awesome guys who researched it and went to the trouble of a good translation, including not just the period depictions from the original book, but also their own recreation and corrections for those different techniques. And it's awesome. It's awesome because all it is about. It's not about the Mediterranean release. It is all about the Mongolian release. And those
Makes me so happy to hear you talk about your research so passionately. It's like one of the things that I just love about you is getting into that zone of.
I find books. Sometimes I find I'm lucky when I find the right books, and I guess that's a research kind of skill is finding the right books.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
So we've been going for almost an hour and a half. So we should probably wrap it up. I have to ask you about this picture before we wrap it up. So I'm going to share the screen one more time.
Oh, jeez.
I just want you to tell me what's happening in it because I'm befuddled.
What, these?
Yeah, what are these?
Okay. All right, these are. I wasn't Ludwig. There have been times when I haven't felt like I was able to go to an event, and Ludwig would go there anyway, or because she's Baroness or whatever, she's got this commitment to go. So, or I wasn't able to, for whatever reason, I wasn't able to be there. So they would make these pictures and post them, and it's like, oh, we miss you, and
it's flat Ataias.
It's flat Ataias.
Look how loved you are.
By really, really wonderful friends of mine.
Very cool. I love the glitter one with you with the long hair. I think it's hilarious.
Thanks.
Any other questions that you want to ask Dawn, or is there any words of wisdom that you want to impart, Ataias?
Okay, well, go back to one of those pictures.
Which one?
Me being held up, particularly the one with the arms born on it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. What does that say under the caption?
Let yourself be the best fighter you can be.
That was told to me by His Grace Duke Manfred Kriegstreiber, the one Squires tournament that we were at up north across the border, where he squired me for the day because I wasn't squired to anyone at that moment, and that was the one piece of advice that he had for me. And there is for any fighter, there is that will always apply. because fighters can often get in their own way of not just fighting their best fight at that time, but also letting themselves develop as fighters.
It goes for artists too.
Yeah.
So do
You know, the short form is get out of your way. Get out of your own way. I was glad and honored to be his squire just for that day, and that he took the time to give me that piece of advice, because it's true, and it was given to me in earnest, and I've always appreciated that, and I will pass it on for every fighter that asks me for such a piece of advice. You know, it's not mine, but yeah, he did me a really good turn there.
Do you keep a journal of all the different pieces of advice you get from people?
No. I had kind of an unusual, out of the norm way to path to knighthood, as far as relationships are concerned.
Yeah, we didn't get into that,
but we're out of time. How unfortunate.
TikTok. Well, thank you, Noah.
Unless you want to go over time.
I think Zoom will cut us off.
Okay.
Actually, it won't. We have a plan that can go 8 hours. We could do this all. But,
Woo!
you know what?
All day, all night.
I want you to talk about your path to knighthood. I think that would be an awesome topic, and we can go 10 more minutes. So yes, please tell us about your path.
Really?
Do it.
Okay. Well, how in depth should I be?
As in depth as you want.
Whatever you're comfortable sharing.
I've had mead, and I've had a margarita, and I don't think I'm going to say anything here that is insulting to anyone. All right. So when I first got into the SCA, who was the first knight that I saw?
Torquil.
This is a pop quiz.
Well,
Okay, yeah. It was Duke Torquil.
Okay.
Fantastic fighter. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, yeah, of course his stuff looked good. He had a Torquil helm and awesome stuff. But wow, what a way to be introduced to the SCA and fighting in general. Watching this guy move and fight was just like, wow. And so anyway, so yeah, he was like, I'm not sure it was conscious or not, but as far as like squiring someone is concerned, is like, that guy's at like the top of the list. So after a while, I can't remember after how many years, there was a make crown that I went to round 4 in. I felt really good, and His Excellency Earl Edward Ena Anderson approached me and offered me, asked me if I would, or told me I would love to take you on as a squire. And I had my sights, because I had my sights set on Torquil. I told him, well, thank you very much, and he was awesome about it. After I said, I thank you, but I really really would like to squire Torquil, he offered to talk to him for me.
Wow.
And make that happen, and he did.
Wow.
And Torquil, His Grace Duke Torquil, took me on, and along with Njal Torquilson, now Knight and Viscount of from Summits.
I didn't realize you guys were Squire brothers. That's awesome.
Yeah, we were. That was God, that was great. So yeah, became a Duke Torquil squire, and a few years during the 2 or 3 years after that, there was some personal complications that didn't involve just us, but it didn't work out. So we talked, and he was really good enough to release me on very good terms. And so soon, it was around that time or soon after that, they became Baron of Three Mountains of their Majesties at the time's barony. And during that time, I felt really weird because I had a populace under me, as it were, under me, that I was responsible for. You know, had sworn oaths to me as Baron, and I had sworn oaths to them, and I felt really weird about causing some, even though, yeah, this is a game. Not sure how this would actually play out. But I took it seriously at the time, and I considered that any possible relationship I would have with the knight, and my populace would have with them. If it just all felt weird, I didn't want to complicate things in that way. I want to put anyone in a bad position. So I, even though I was approached by his Grace Duke Sven and Fiak, it just felt really weird.
I can hear Fiak's voice. Good Baron, my Baron.
And that was our relationship. When Fiak and I made that connection, he said, "Okay, you will not be my squire. I will be your knight, and you will be my baron." So we had a unique relationship in that respect.
So Fiak wasn't actually your knight. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I was not a squire, but he was my knight. Yeah, it's
Sven down. How do you turn Sven down?
actually Fiak. I think Fiak got to me first. I think.
You know, I would give back my belt if I could be his squire.
Oh!
Wow, that's like didn't William the Marshal's squires do that? They wouldn't take knighthood because they wanted to still be his squires. William the Marshal. Anyway, so yeah, and when I stepped down as Baron during Sven's reign, at the end of Sven's reign, Avalok, who became king, made me a knight. No. Sven made me a knight. Avalok made me a baron.
We're gonna go back to that picture because
And I'm so sorry. Please don't hurt me.
Sven, your knighting him was so forgettable.
In my defense, I got this going on.
I don't know. Is that Avalok or Sven?
How can I forget that? How can I forget that? And I was so gratefully honored to be slapped by him.
I'm not gonna let you.
And although and I was both him and Signy. Oh God, jeez, that was just fantastic. Sorry, I got the order wrong. So anyway, so yeah, Sven was the one that gave me the buffet.
But Fiak was your knight.
The Fiak was my knight.
Well, so it all came full circle at the end.
Yeah.
That's kind of a
And
beautiful fact.
Fiak did not prevent me from like learning from any other. I don't think there's any knight in Nantir who I could not learn from. Where I was disallowed. I was like, no, I'm sorry. I will not teach you anything because you're not my squire. Or no, you can't talk to this guy because he's not your knight. No, they're all open to me.
Don't you think that should be the role of every peer, is to facilitate their students to learn from whoever it is they need to learn from?
Yeah.
I don't understand exclusivity that some people put on their students. I don't get it.
Well, there is something to say for allowing your peer to be a good judge or a thoughtful judge as to this is information that you need. This is information that you can test out, but we'll talk about it together as to whether or not it's actually good information. And this cat, I do not want you hanging out with. He's got nothing but bad juju.
Right. Right. That's fair.
Yeah. And that's hopefully whoever your peer is has that kind of judgment that you can trust, given their wisdom.
Circles back around to establish a good relationship with your peer before you take them as a peer.
Yeah. Trust in that kind of thing is very important. And Fiat was a fantastic supporter and knight for me. I could always rely upon his words of wisdom, or at least I felt I could.
I'm so glad he's playing again.
Yeah, he's a very, very thoughtful man.
Well, he not only had himself, he had his lineage. He had, and I want everyone involved with that. He had Ulfred. He had Dak. He also had guys like that were ancillary or related in some way or relationship, like Sven. Or he could always. I could ask him, hey, what do you think about this guy? And I'm pretty sure he would tell me, yeah, he's good, or he's like, I don't know, man. But he had all the Varangians around him as well. I mean, I could talk to any of those guys, I think, if I wanted to.
Well, don't you think there's something to be learned from the people that you shouldn't learn from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how do you learn that from them, necessarily? I mean...
You learn how to discern the gold from the shit, right?
Yeah. I
don't know. I'm of the firm camp that you should learn from everybody, and
what's the Tolkien quote from Aragorn where he says, good and evil are not one thing among elves, dwarves and elves, and another among men. It's a man's part to discern between them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that's a good ending quote.
I do too.
Thank you, Noah.
Hey,
Ataias.
Ataias, thank you so much. This was really fun for me, and I hope for our viewers too. And I just so appreciate you being so candid with us and so willing to be our first guinea pig.
Well, it could have gone horribly wrong.
I'm really honored that you two would ask me to do this. And
we love you.
Well, the feeling's mutual, and I look to both of you guys as inspirations myself.
Aww.
If I have not expressed that before, I express it now. You guys are just
hugs all around.
I don't have the words.
Miss you so much. All right. So okay. I'm just going to plug next week. Next week we're going to be talking to Master Aranius.
Be there.
Yeah, be there. Who is the most amazing service-oriented person. I think he blows my mind. But anyway, we'll talk about him next week, and I hope
he's wicked smart.
He is, and the way that he thinks about the SCA and the way that he's just so thoughtful, and his brain is so fascinating, and I'm really looking forward to it. So
Rivka, I'm sorry I stepped on your line. In my defense, I'm sorry.
It's not anything, but I think we have to end with the phrase, the moment is struck.
Yes.
Oh my God.
The moment is struck.
The moment is struck.
The moment is struck.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.